the exit polls. It doesn't help, fellas. You don't have to give bad exit polls. In 2 hours, you're going to know. They didn't have to do that. She said, it's not looking good, Dad. Those exit polls are not looking good. And, you know, they'd put bad questions in the exit polls. They'd say, like, many people say Donald Trump is a very, very bad person. Do you agree that he's a horrible human being? Yes or no? And the people go, yeah, I guess. Boom. So, you know, so we go out, and immediately the election's over. That was a Bernie fan. No, the election ended 3 weeks ago, darling. Someday soon, she will be on our side. You watch. So, it was so exciting, though. So I get these horrible calls. I get a couple of them but Ivanka said, Dad, I'll tell you, you've really worked hard. I said, you know what, Ivanka? As bad as it may be, I don't feel, like in a football team, I left nothing on the field, right? I left nothing on the field. All right, get him out of here. Where do these people come from? Where do they come from? Unbelievable. Is there anything better or safer than a Trump rally, right? You ever get that? It's your rally. I'm telling you, it's a movement like they've never seen before. Look at this. I mean, the election's over. Look at this place. It's packed right to the corners. I wish the cameras would show it. They never do. They never do. A big room. This is a big place. This is a big, big place. Every place is packed right to the rafters. They never show it. They never, ever show it. But that's okay. But they hear it. They'll never show it. They never do. But you know what I do? What I say? They hear it. Because there's a big difference between a massive crowd like this and having like 250 people in a room, right? Big, big difference. So people say, we never saw the crowd, but man, that sounded like Michigan or Michigan State, right? Which do we like? I won't say it sounded like Ohio State. We'll say it at that, right? But, so the polls close, and they go live. Now, I'm hearing that Texas is close, so I'm saying, but I'm getting all these horrible calls from my kids, from Jared, from everybody. Too bad, Dad, because they had me written off, right? They said, no, the polls. And I said to Ivanka, honey, I may have lost. Because I really, based on what they were saying, it was sort of like going to be it was going to be an early evening. They didn't realize it was going to be an early evening for us. And even though they refused to call it, it should have been an early evening, but they just refused. But I said, but I left nothing out there. I felt so good because, again, I was getting this news which really sounded like it was sort of over. And I said, it's like a team. I left nothing out there. I couldn't have worked harder. I couldn't have worked harder. That month, we outworked anybody that ever ran for office, all right? Nobody ever ran for office that worked harder. So I was okay with it, I was okay. I wouldn't say I was great. I wouldn't say I was thrilled, but I was okay. And then the polls closed, and now we get the real numbers. And that's when Ohio came in. And that's when I love Ohio. They were so great. I know you guys have a little competition, but that's all right. But they were so good. And that's when Iowa came in. 10 points, that never happens. All these counties won, almost every single county, and won the ones that weren't won till the 50s, since the 50s. And then I hear these states that were in play. Texas. We have breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of Texas. And I couldn't understand it because when I went to Texas, we had these massive auditoriums and these stadiums that were packed with people, lines that were 20 blocks long. You couldn't get in. Thousands of people left outside. So I won Texas. But they said it was going to be close, and it was a landslide. Then they have another one. Georgia was going to be, again, they use the word in play. In play means that, it's going to, go either way. Donald Trump, breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of Georgia. Right? This is like in the first 2 seconds. This is the one that they're saying for 2 months. Oh, Georgia's in play. Texas. Okay, so that's done. Great states. Then they had this character that nobody ever heard of before from Utah. I love Utah. And they had him like tied with me and beating Hillary. And I said, who the hell is this guy? And as a Republican, you never lose Utah. It's like, hate to say it, but, I don't think has anyone ever lost Utah? So they said, Utah's in play for months. And they talked about this guy. And, I looked at him. I said, is he going to beat me, that guy? Where does he come from? Who is he? Who is he? What's he doing? If he wins, we louse up the Supreme Court of the United States. What's he doing, this guy? Anyway, so then right after Texas, it's it. Breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of Utah. Like what? By 25 points. And by the way, in all fairness, Hillary came in second, and this guy that nobody ever heard of, he fell off the planet. So we won all these states. But then, and a certain person said to me, very important person, who I actually got along with very well, said, when did you think you won? And I said, no, when did you think that you guys lost? And they said, well, Florida was looking okay. And all of a sudden, but they hadn't counted on the panhandle. That panhandle, boy, what was that, like 91% or something? Those are great people, workers. And we were doing well in Florida, and they weren't liking those numbers because we were like even. We hadn't gotten to the panhandle. And all of a sudden, breaking news, Donald Trump has won the state of Florida by a lot. And then we just went right up that coastline, right? We won South Carolina. And then a big one because they put all of their eggs in the one basket. And they said, they were interviewing people on television from the other side, you just lost Florida. I said, well, we're a little disappointed, but we have no problem because North Carolina is our firewall. He can't win North Carolina. Can't happen. 2 minutes later, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of North Carolina. Big league, big. We won it big. And, I knew they had problems because they took the convention center, and I just took a ballroom. If I lost, I don't want a big room. I just want to say, thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time. I'm out of here. I don't want to have. But they spent like $7 million on fireworks in the East River. So they had the ballroom, and they spent a tremendous millions and millions on this massive fireworks display of the big barges in the river. And that was about a month before the election. But 3 days before the election, they canceled the fireworks. I said, that's a good signal. I said, is it supposed to be inclement weather? And we checked, and they said, no, actually, it's going to be beautiful. It's a beautiful night. I said, why did they cancel the fireworks? And they were in for a lot, like $7 million. Because they raised, I think they spent $2.2 billion. I get no credit for this. They spent $2.2 billion. What do we spend? Like a little more than $300 million. Mr. DeVos will tell you, Mr. DeVos Sr. will tell you, too, that, you know, in the old days, you get credit if you spent less. Today, they'd say, and they used to say, she spent more money. He's up by 1 point, right? She spent more money, like it's good. No, it's bad. If you can spend less money and win, that's good. We got to remember, it's good, not bad. So when I heard they spent $7 million on the fireworks, and I didn't know if we were going to win or lose, but I was feeling really good. So we sent them over just a nice verbal statement. We will offer you 5 cents on the dollar for the fireworks, right? Because it was only a few days before. They never responded. I thought I could buy the fireworks cheap. Just like I don't want to buy an airplane for $4 billion, okay? I don't want to buy it. Even if I don't get to use it, who the hell cares, right? I'm not paying $4 billion for an airplane. So we had an amazing night. Thank you. They forgot about you people. By the way, in 4 years, they're not going to forget, but it's not going to work. Because you're not going to forget. But so we just went up, and it was amazing. And then on top of it, we won Michigan, which these folks have done such an unbelievable job. Ronna McDaniels, what a great job. You and your people have done an incredible job. And then we won Wisconsin, which was so incredible. Because that one, you know, we weren't expecting necessarily. And it came in, they're incredible people, hardworking, wonderful people. So, and it was over. It was an amazing experience. And winning Pennsylvania, you know, Pennsylvania, for 38 years, they didn't win it. And it was always the one that got away. Every Republican said, we're going to win Pennsylvania. And it never happened. They say the bride that got away, right? It never, ever happened. Everybody said they're going to win it. And not only did they not win it, they lost it big. So I felt so good in Pennsylvania. Every time we would have these massive crowds, signs on everybody's lawn, you know, the Trump-Pence sign. By the way, how good is Governor Mike Pence, soon to be Vice President Mike Pence? How good is he? What a good choice. What a good choice. He's been great. He is a great guy, but I want to just say thank you to Mike Pence. He's been amazing. So it's been an incredible experience, I must say. But Pennsylvania, when we won that was, you know. Now, they could have called it around 12 o'clock or 11:30 or 11. And remember the screen? Remember the states? And, boy, the red was starting to get big. Boy, that was getting to be really a lot of red. Remember when they were saying at the beginning before the night, there is no path to 270. And you know the amazing thing about the Electoral College is that you stop at all these states. I was going all over the place. I was stopping at states. And in many ways, I'd rather have it the other way. It's easier. You campaign in New York and you campaign in California. You stop in Florida and Texas. And it's so, you know, be easy. But this does get you. I was never as much a fan. This gets you to stop at states that you're not going to stop in. And that's what our founders had in mind, and that's what people had in mind. It's an amazing thing. It really is. I went to Maine 4 times. 4 times to Maine. For one. I needed one. Because they all said, maybe I could get to 269. They didn't know that we were going to break that beautiful, beautiful blue wall. We're going to shatter that wall. So nobody... So I went to Maine 4 times for one. Now, under the other system, you wouldn't do that. So it was an amazing evening. We ended up with 306, and which was a landslide. And some states we won by 30 and 40 points throughout, and it was just an amazing thing. And I can tell you, we're going to work really, really hard for you. We're going to work really hard to justify what you did. And so we're doing our little tour. And one of the places I had to stop is Michigan. And we're going to bring our Michigan jobs and Michigan workers back to work. We're going to bring them back to work. And I've been here many times, and even before I was running, before I officially announced, I didn't know if I was running. And I got an award about 4 years ago, the Man of the Year. And I talked about the cars. They can't keep taking your car manufacturers, Ford and the others. They can't keep taking them out. And I was talking about it long before I ever thought I was going to do this. And the people in Michigan remembered, I've been talking about this for years, we're going to stop it. And Ford's made a promise to me, and hopefully at the beginning of the year they're going to honor that promise about something they're going to do that's very big. And they're going to do it in Michigan, not in Mexico. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we want to thank you. But on taxes, we're going to undertake one of the great tax reforms and simplifications in American history. At the center of this plan is a massive middle-class tax cut. Middle-class tax cut. We're also going to lower our business tax rate from 35% all the way down to 15%, bringing new companies to our country and to your state. So we go from the highest taxed nation in the world to one of the lowest. Not the lowest yet, but okay, don't get greedy, okay? But to one of the lowest. On regulations, we're going to eliminate wasteful, job-killing regulations that undermine the ability of our workers and our companies to compete with the rest of the world. Big thing. Bigger than the taxes. I think it's bigger than the taxes. On energy, we will cancel the restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. We're going to put our miners back to work. Miners, we love our miners. Wyoming, I think it was my highest percentage. The opponent almost didn't register in the state of Wyoming. Almost didn't register in the state of West Virginia, which we love. We love our miners. On infrastructure, I will ask Congress to pass legislation that produces $1 trillion of new investment in America's crumbling infrastructure. That includes major new projects for both our rural communities and our inner cities. And our inner cities are like the forgotten man and the forgotten woman. We've forgotten about our inner cities. No longer. And the African-American community was great to us. They came through big league. Big league. And frankly, if they had any doubt, they didn't vote. And that was almost as good because a lot of people didn't show up because they felt good about me. And the Hispanic community, great. Great. Really great. And women, thank goodness, women. Oh, man. Women. The women. That was the other thing with the polls. It's like, I'd go to these rallies, and they had the pink signs all over the place going crazy. We did great with women, so I want to thank the women. So we're going to put our people back to work. It's time to help get Americans off of welfare rolls and back into the labor market. We're going to do that. Rebuilding our country with American hands and American workers. And they're going to be so thrilled. They're going to make so much more money than they've ever made. And they're going to love getting up in the morning, and they're going to love what they do. My administration will follow two simple rules. Buy American and hire American. Because from now on, it's going to be America first. America first. Our trade deficit is now nearly $800 billion a year. Can you believe that? Any business people in the room? Raise your hand. Do you think you could do slightly better than that? I think so. It's a chronic drag on growth, and it's a destroyer of our country's wealth and our country's jobs. $800 billion a year. You actually say, who's making these deals? Who's making them? You look at deals that Mexico and other countries have with other countries, and the deals they have with us are always the worst deal. But that's going to change. That's going to change. We've got the professionals lined up, and these professionals, they know what they're doing. America has lost 1/3 of our manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. We've lost 70,000 factories. I always tell, during this, for the last month, I've been talking about it. I always say it's a typo. You mean 700 factories. You mean 70 factories. 70,000 factories since China joined the World Trade Organization. Think of what 70,000 factories is. It's the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. No state has been hurt worse by our trade deals than the state of Michigan. That's why I knew I was going to win Michigan. That's why I knew I was going to win. No state. And it's the car industry, the automobile industry. But you watch, they're going to come roaring back. They're going to come roaring back, and you're going to be happy. You've lost more than 40% of your automobile jobs since NAFTA was approved. Think of it, 40%. And I'll tell you what, if I wasn't elected, 40%, you wish you had 40% in 2 years from now. You wish. It would have gotten much worse. Plenty of deals are going on. And, you know, we did a great job for Carrier with the help of Mike Pence. We did a great job, but you got to understand, we got to that table a little bit late. They already had built their factory in Mexico and lots of other things, and yet we saved a tremendous number of jobs. And the rest of those jobs, I mean, look, they have to be prepared, Carrier and everybody else, that when they make those air conditioners or whatever they're making, I think they're going to make pumps, not air conditioners. Was going to be air conditioners. We left them back here. But whatever they make, and other companies, they're going to have to pay a tremendous tax to get that product back into this country. The point is, the jobs that are gone, I think they'll be coming back soon, too. It used to be the cars were made in Flint, and you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Now the cars are made in Mexico, and you can't drink the water in Flint. We're going to change that. And it would have been nice if I had a little help from your governor. It would have been real nice, right? It would have been nice if we had a little help from your governor. We're going to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, renegotiate NAFTA, stand up to foreign cheating, and fight for every last American job and every last job that belongs in Michigan. And if a company wants to fire their workers, leave Michigan for another country or anywhere else, and then ship their product back into our country, there will be consequences, folks. It's no longer to be like we're people, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. Go ahead, fire everybody in Michigan or Indiana or Pennsylvania. Fire everybody, build someplace else, and just sell back. No, no more. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. If we, it's not me, I'm a messenger. If we didn't come along, our country was going to be totally drained. There are thousands and thousands of companies right now that are negotiating to get out of our country because, well, for one reason, the taxes are too high. For another reason, the regulations. So even without doing what I'm doing at the border, and there is no 35% tax, you understand that. It's only if you leave is there a tax. There's no tax on our company. We're lowering taxes. But I don't think we're going to have to use that 35% very much because when we lower our taxes down to 15% or thereabouts, I hope I can get it down to that level, but nobody's going to leave. When we lower our regulations by probably 80%, 85%, these are regulations that don't, they're a disaster for farmers, for manufacturers, for everybody. I also have an important announcement, and I'm going to make it tonight. You mind? We'll keep it low-key. We'll keep it very low key. They're turning off some of the cameras because they're so honorable. But we have a great, great business leader with us tonight, one of the foremost leaders in manufacturing, one of the foremost leaders in the world of business, a man who cares greatly about this state and this country, even though he does happen to come from Australia. He's here with us this evening. He's done an incredible job. He's helped to build an unbelievable company. He's been the chairman and CEO of Dow Chemical for 13 years. One of the truly great companies, and it's based right here in Michigan. And he's staying here. He's staying. He's proud of Michigan. He's also a fantastic family man, just met his son, and someone committed to returning jobs to the United States of America. His name is Andrew Liveris, one of the most respected businessmen in the world, and I'm asking him to come up and head up our American Manufacturing Council, and he's agreed to do it. They will be tasked with finding ways to bring industry back to America. Industry and manufacturing back to America. And there's nobody can do it like Andrew. So, Andrew, please come up to the stage. Andrew.
Doesn't the president-elect sing music? It's music. It's Kid Rock. It's Detroit Motor City music. It's Michigan music. It's American music. I'm very proud to be here. We love him too, and we're very proud as a Michigan-based company to be. We were founded here in Michigan, just up the road in Midland, in the Bay communities. We're global, but we've been expanding our operations here in Michigan. We've been expanding our operations in the United States. Over 7,000 jobs, factory jobs, construction jobs, technicians, engineers, service jobs. Invested over $7 billion in the last 4 or 5 years, and we aren't stopping there. We aren't stopping there. We're going to add value by getting this incredible workforce in front of me, this incredible American worker, this incredible Michigan worker, and we're going to put you all to work. We've got ideas and we've got plans. And tonight, in honor of the President-elect and his being here to thank you all, we've made a decision. We're going to invest a new state-of-the-art innovation center in Michigan. We're going to put an R&D center in place. This decision because of this man and these policies, we could have waited. We could have put it anywhere in the world. Several hundred